Hi, part three of the credentials fallacy. Fair use, educational purposes. I've said it loads of times before. I'll say it again. Only applies to the person. I'm not a person. I'm a man. Related logical fallacies. Oh, and I'm an individual. Don't try and pigeonhole me into any sort of group, because I'm not part of any group. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. Thank you very much. When discussing the credentials fallacy, it's important to point out two related logical fallacies. First, there is the argument from authority, which is a logical fallacy which occurs when someone claims that a certain argument must be right simply because it was stated by a supposed expert on the topic. Appeal to any authority or argument from any authority is a logical fallacy, because you don't know if they've got monetary gain or an agenda behind what they're saying or doing. Obviously, all these, like, how do I put it? These professional scientists that believe that they're an authority on science and everything else, and that science belongs to them and everything else, when actually it doesn't. It belongs to the individual. It belongs to everybody. Of course, they've got monetary gain behind what they're saying and what they're doing. They get funding for what they're saying and what they're doing. If they don't go along with what's there, and they go against the mainstream narrative and everything else, they're going to lose the funding, which means they lose the job, which means they lose money. So they've got monetary gain behind what they're doing. Yeah. Some may have an agenda, I don't know, but a lot of them have got monetary gain behind it. Second, there is the appeal to accomplishments, which is a logical fallacy which occurs when someone claims that a certain argument must be right simply because it was stated by someone who has a certain set of accomplishments. Essentially, the difference between the credentials fallacy and these two fallacies is that the credentials fallacy is based on the fallacious assumption that a lack of credentials is a valid reason to assume that a certain individual is necessarily wrong, while the argument from authority and the appeal to accomplishment are based on the assumption that the presence of such credentials is a valid reason to assume that a certain individual is necessarily right. So there you go, there's the assumptions again. You should try and get rid of your beliefs and your assumptions, because you won't progress anywhere. And then by assuming things, you get the wrong conclusion. Yeah. The credentials fallacy is often used in conjunction with an argument from authority or with an appeal to accomplishments, since the individual using the credentials fallacy will often try to disparage the opinion of the individual without credentials while comparing it with the opinion of those that have them. Furthermore, the individual using these fallacies might also use an appeal to false authority in situations where the authority figure whose argument they support has authority which is invalid for some reason. Nobody's got authority. We're all individuals, we're all men and women and children. No one's got authority over the man, the woman or the child. Nobody has got authority over anybody. They might have perceived authority over people, but they haven't got authority over nobody. Yeah? Nobody's got authority over anybody else. You can only have authority over yourself. How to counter the credentials fallacy. This will be the next one. Okay? Thank you.